What if I told you that the story of modern music was fundamentally altered by 5 school friends from Oxfordshire? That one band, faced with global stardom, decided to tear up the rulebook, alienate millions, and in doing so, became more important than ever. This is the timeline of Radiohead, the band that refused to stand still and dragged the entire music world forward with them. For more untold stories and deep dives into the timelines of the artists who shaped our world, don't forget to subscribe to Timelines Unlocked. Our story begins in 1985 at Abingdon School, an all-boys private school in Oxfordshire, England. 5 teenagers, theatrical frontman Thom Yorke, multi-instrumentalist prodigy Jonny Greenwood, and his bassist brother Colin, rhythm guitarist Ed O'Brien, and steady drummer Phil Selway, formed a band. They called themselves On a Friday, for the simple reason that Friday was the only day they could rehearse. Their early influences were a mix of post-punk and alternative rock giants like Joy Division, REM, and the Pixies, while their contemporaries were getting swept up in the burgeoning Manchester and shoegaze scenes. On a Friday were honing a sound that was melodic, yet jagged and full of nervous energy. After a brief hiatus for university, the band reconvened in 1991, started playing gigs in earnest, and quickly caught the ear of an EMI Records scout, who signed them to a 6-album deal. Their first order of business was changing their name. They chose Radiohead, a nod to a song from Talking Heads' album True Stories. In 1992, Radiohead released their debut single, Creep. The song, with its quiet, simmering verses and explosive, distorted chorus, was born from an uncomfortable place. Thom Yorke had written it about feeling like an outsider, and Jonny Greenwood, who reportedly disliked the song's gentle pace, tried to sabotage it with jarring, aggressive guitar crunches. Instead of ruining it, those crunches defined it. Creep was initially a flop in the UK, but after gaining traction on Israeli radio, and then on American alternative rock stations, it became a massive, worldwide anthem for the alienated. Suddenly, Radiohead were MTV stars, but they were deeply uncomfortable. They felt the song was simplistic and didn't represent them, and they quickly grew to despise playing it. The pressure to write another Creep was immense, and the band found themselves being defined by the one song they were most desperate to escape. This internal conflict became the driving force behind their second album, 1995's The Bends. The recording sessions were famously difficult and fraught with tension, as the band pushed themselves to evolve beyond their one-hit wonder status. The result was a stunning leap forward. While still a guitar rock album, The Bends was layered, atmospheric, and emotionally complex. Songs like the soaring Fake Plastic Trees and the hauntingly beautiful Street Spirit Fade Out showcased a lyrical depth and musical sophistication that set them leagues apart from their Britpop peers like Oasis and Blur. It was the sound of a band consciously rejecting their past and finding their true voice. The album was a critical success and proved Radiohead was no fluke. They were a serious artistic force. But even this triumph was just a prelude to the seismic shift that was about to occur. By 1997, the world was on the cusp of a new millennium, and a sense of unease about technology and globalization was beginning to bubble under the surface. It was into this environment that Radiohead released OK Computer. This wasn't just an album, it was a cultural document. It was a sprawling, ambitious, and prophetic concept record about the anxieties of modern life: consumerism, social isolation, political corruption, and the dehumanizing effect of technology. Tracks like the multi-part epic Paranoid Android and the anthemic Karma Police were stadium-sized rock songs, but they were laced with strange textures, unconventional structures, and a deep sense of paranoia. The album's centerpiece, Fitter, Happier, featured a synthesized voice reciting a chilling list of self-improvement mantras, perfectly capturing the album's bleak heart. OK Computer was universally hailed as a masterpiece, topping Best of the Year and later Best of All Time lists. It cemented Radiohead as the most important band of their generation, but it also painted them into a corner. How could they possibly top it? Their answer was simple. They wouldn't even try. After the exhausting world tour for OK Computer, Thom Yorke suffered a complete creative breakdown. He was sick of rock music, sick of guitars, and sick of the expectations placed upon him. He decided the only way forward was to destroy everything they had built. The band reconvened and, inspired by the abstract electronic music of artists like Aphex Twin and the freeform jazz of Charles Mingus, they abandoned their traditional songwriting process. In 2000, they released Kid A. It was an act of commercial suicide that became an artistic triumph. Guitars were almost entirely absent, replaced by synthesizers, drum machines, and dissonant brass sections. There were no obvious singles. The opening track, Everything in Its Right Place, was built on a processed electric piano riff and Yorke's digitally manipulated vocals. Idiotique was a frantic, glitchy electronic track built on computer-generated beats. The reaction was one of pure shock. Many fans and critics were confused, even angry. But over time, Kid A came to be seen as a revolutionary masterpiece. It single-handedly brought experimental electronic music into the mainstream and proved that a band at the peak of its powers could take monumental risks and succeed. The creative wellspring of the Kid A sessions was so deep that it produced a sister album, 2001's Amnesiac. Darker, more claustrophobic, and with a jazzier influence, it continued the band's journey into uncharted territory with tracks like the stunning, piano-led Pyramid Song. For their next album, Hail to the Thief, in 2003, Radiohead attempted to synthesize their two distinct eras, blending the experimental electronics of Kid A with the guitar-driven rock of their past. It was a sprawling, politically charged record released in the shadow of the post-9/11 War on Terror, and it marked the end of their contract with EMI. For the first time in their careers, they were free agents, and they were about to change the game once again. In 2007, with the music industry in chaos due to illegal downloading, Radiohead made a groundbreaking announcement. Their seventh album, In Rainbows, would be released online in just 10 days, and fans could pay whatever they wanted for it, including nothing. The pay-what-you-want model sent shockwaves through the industry, challenging the very notion of how music should be valued and sold. It was a revolutionary act that foreshadowed the rise of streaming services and artist-direct platforms. But beyond the business model, the music itself was a revelation. In Rainbows was warm, intimate, and emotionally direct. Stripping away the political paranoia, the album focused on the complexities of life and love, with lush, rhythmically intricate songs like Nude, Weird Fishes, Arpeggi, and the breathtaking Reckoner. It was both their most accessible album in a decade and one of their most celebrated. Following this triumph, Radiohead continued to evolve. 2011's The King of Limbs was a short, dense album focused on rhythm, loops, and samples, showcasing the band's fascination with intricate, hypnotic grooves. It felt more like a studio experiment, a sonic puzzle that truly came alive in their stunning From the Basement live performance. After a 5-year gap, they returned in 2016 with A Moon-Shaped Pool. It was a melancholic and majestic album, heavily featuring Johnny Greenwood's now renowned skills as a film composer, with sweeping string and choral arrangements. The songs, informed by the end of Thom Yorke's 23-year relationship, were deeply personal and achingly beautiful, culminating in the long-awaited and devastating studio version of their old live staple, True Love Waits. It was the work of a band that had grown into elder statesmen, capable of expressing profound sadness, with unparalleled grace. So, how did Radiohead change music? They did it by refusing to be defined. They smashed the boundaries between rock, electronic, jazz, and classical music. They proved that artistic integrity and commercial success were not mutually exclusive. When they were crowned the kings of anthemic rock, they abandoned guitars. When the music industry was collapsing, they rewrote the economic model. Their timeline is a testament to the power of constant reinvention, a relentless forward momentum that has influenced countless artists across every genre, from Coldplay and Muse to Billie Eilish and Flying Lotus. They created a space for challenging, introspective, and sonically adventurous music to exist in the mainstream. Now it's over to you. Which Radiohead album do you think was their biggest game changer? Was it the prophetic masterpiece, OK Computer, the shocking reinvention of Kid A, or the industry-shattering release of In Rainbows? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey through one of music's most important timelines, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Timelines Unlocked for more.